Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. As we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we're how many days? Wait, hold on. T minus 5 days until T minus 5 days, I think, until the new year. I think. Hold on. Hold on. What day is the actual final day of year for, I suppose, in Animal Crossing? I got to figure this out, so I got this in my head. Okay, so yesterday was 360. Today's 361. 362, 363, 364, 365. So on Saturday is going to be the first upload. Yes, okay. So Saturday itself, that day, is going to be that Animal Crossing day is going to be the final Animal Crossing. Oh, the start of year 4. Okay. Hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow at 6:03 PM on Monday, March 20th, 2023. If you want to use something, so how is this thing? Oh no, wait, hold on. It will be the Friday, isn't it? Wait, do I do the special things on the final day or the first day? I genuinely don't remember. Hold on. We're going to have to jump back many pages, I suppose, in YouTube Studio for me to actually find that. But anyway, oh yeah, I forgot to change my outfit and look. I looked at it, it's like, who is this person? But, you know, I completely forgot. If you understandably wanted to stay relatively spoiler free from yesterday's own, sorry, you got a small spoiler today, is that this is going to be the new outfit Biscuit, for year 4 of Animal Crossing. But yeah, what was I going to talk about today? I mean, generally I should probably just talk about like my holiday that I went on, because it's nice, you know, it was a relaxing holiday. I certainly cannot dispute that. You might be like, where did you go? I went to Spain with a few of my friends, and basically we were sort of like we drove around in a motorhome in a camper van, basically not all around Spain. Okay, we didn't actually go to Madrid, and you might be like, you didn't go to the capital of Spain, and no, the answer is we didn't. We basically stayed in the East Coast from like Barcelona all the way down to Gibraltar and other cities along the way, and it was super awesome. It is what I would say. You know, it's been a while since I've had a particularly long holiday. I think most of our holidays I have a couple of days at most. I think the most recent memories of the longest holidays I've had have been about 5 days or something, which is fine. But this was quite a long one, 2 weeks. And if you haven't noticed my absence, then I guess that's good, or maybe that's bad. I'm not particularly sure which way I swing on that. But yeah, basically it was just like a super relaxing time. I don't even know where to start. I guess we could start with caravans and that sort of thing, because it's interesting, because I used to actually go, like as a family, we used to go on these caravan holidays quite often when I was younger, but of course they were not mobile caravan holidays. Oh, I shouldn't say of course, that's probably blatantly not obvious, but we used to go to like caravan parks where they had stationary caravans or Charlotte houses. I don't know if that's the official term for them. That might be a Britishism. I don't know. Charlotte house. It's just how I know them. That seems to not be a term. Hold on. What's it called for? Like small homes in camper sites name. I thought they were called Charlotte houses, because that's what my family always, or my parents always used to call them. Are they not called Charlotte houses? What are they called? wait, I genuinely did not realise that this is not what they were called. But I mean, Charlotte houses doesn't come up with anything except for a school, which, you know, I'm just like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But houses in campsites name, cabins, I guess. Why on earth do I think they're called Charlotte houses? Mobile homes? No, not this sort of mobile home. Because these ones actually look like campsites or whatever. No, I'm talking about, they're basically like mini bungalows. They're like, well, I guess they're not too dissimilar from mobile homes. Why did I think they were called Charlotte houses? This is not a thing. I'm actually losing my mind. But yeah, but they're basically like, you know, tiny, mini bungalows. Like basically in between a caravan and a house, I suppose, but like small bungalows is basically how I describe them. And I don't know, we always call them Charlotte houses. That might not actually be what they're called or whatever, but I'm losing my mind. This is not a thing. Charlotte house slang. Is it a slang? Charlotte is a beautiful young girl. Not what I want. I don't care about Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte, I'm sure you're great, but the campsite? Charlotte house campsite? What's this? I'm losing my mind. What? They're not at all called Charlotte houses. Well, we certainly know what today's title is going to be for this episode. It's going to be Charlotte House, despite the fact it's not a thing. You know what? I bet what my parents were trying to say was chalet house, not Charlotte House, and I've literally never made that connection until just now. I've just been calling them Charlotte houses this entire time. That's so strange. I genuinely did not even realise. Obviously, like, English is not my first language. It's not my parents' first language. It is my first. Well, is it my first language? And I suppose technically it's not my first language, but it very much is my dominant language now. And I'm far better at English than I am at Mandarin. Well, obviously, English is not my parents' first language, so I certainly forgive them for not being able to pronounce a French word in English. But they must be called chalet houses. Chalet houses, campsite. Is that what they're officially called? Chalets, bungalows, and campsites. Okay, campsite, chalet. Okay. I'm still going to call them Charlotte houses, I'm going to be perfectly honest. And maybe that'll just become something I'll catch on, which people will just use to refer to those sort of houses. Because every time I think of chalet, I always think of like a ski lodge sort of chalet. But yeah, I genuinely have never made that connection until just now. I've only even called them Charlotte houses to my friend recently, and he didn't say anything. He was just like, oh yeah. I mean, he probably could have got the context. I mean, it's a thing. If you talk with enough confidence in yourself, and people think that you know what you're talking about, they're just like, am I wrong? I must be the one wrong, which is not my intention, but certainly sometimes I'm sure that happens. Because I tend to speak quite sort of calmly and dictator, not like a dictator, but like I sort of dictate what I'm saying is what I mean to say. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. We used to go on these like caravan park like holidays all the time. We used to stay at the chalet houses or Charlotte houses, and for a few days, like we did it in Scotland, we did it like up and down UK basically. Not very often in other countries from what I recall, because I suppose when you're in another country, like, I'm gonna be honest, my preference still is with hotels. The hotels are just nice, but I will give credit to motorhomes and caravan like holidays where credit is due. Is if you're visiting multiple different areas and it's a rather long holiday, it makes sense to have like a car or camper van or something to drive around a place. It's a lot more convenient, I think, because then you don't have to like repack your suitcase every like a few days or every 2 days or 1 day and then like haul it over to the next hotel or whatever. But for longer periods of staying in like an Airbnb or a hotel feels a lot nicer to me. Okay, so let me just see what day that stuff was uploaded. Okay, so it was uploaded in year 2 in review. I don't remember. Okay, so it was uploaded as the first day of the new Animal Crossing series. I see. Oh, it even replaced the episode for that day. Oh, okay. So it is going to be on Saturday. That is when I'm going to be uploading the newest episode. I'm just double checking that. 731. The first episode was a pre-recorded episode, was it? Because I feel like Gala's Bank for Everyone was a pre-recorded episode. Was that on holiday? I might have been on a camping holiday that time last year. Actually, I didn't think about that. That's very funny. But, I mean, March is just generally the time I suppose I go on holiday, and it just sort of coincides with the Animal Crossing release. That's genuinely quite funny. I never realised that. Yeah, but we used to stay in these houses all the time, and I used to make quite a few friends, like play around with the other kids who were there for the time, staying there for like their holidays and that sort of thing. And, I have very fond memories of that sort of thing. They're not always to everyone's tastes, but I think they feel a lot cozier, I suppose, is how I describe them compared to staying in a hotel. Like, don't get me wrong, as I'm older, hotels are very nice because everything's basically provided for you. Something's a problem, just call reception, they'll sort it out for you. You don't need to basically think about anything. With camper sites basically, or caravans, you do have to basically sort out what you want yourself. You got to be like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I need to get done. But you had to do it because you're the one maintaining it. If it's your own caravan, I suppose if you're renting a caravan like we did, then that's not necessarily the case, but you are sort of still stuck with it for the duration of your holiday. Well, which do I prefer? I don't know. Like, staying in campsites is quite nice. I certainly wouldn't do it for every single holiday. Like, I'm not like... I do like nature. I like the environment and that sort of thing. And I like holidays which give me time to spend in it. But as... actual accommodation wise, I also prefer my cleanliness. I prefer like sanitary methods that we have in modern day, I suppose, compared to roughing it outdoors necessarily. It's such a strange thing, but I hate things like porta potties because they feel like dirty, I suppose, or unclean to me. You might be perfectly fine with them. That's totally okay. I'll still use them if I need to use them, but like, you know, it's not great. I don't love it. I much prefer, you know, the indoor plumbing is like one of the best modern inventions, I will say, or like the plumbing systems, sewage systems, etc., etc. I don't really know how to properly describe it. It's fantastic and far underrated, I think, for when it comes to like conveniences of modern day life. It's definitely one which I think flies under radar for appreciation. But yeah. It just makes me very nostalgic to think about them, because we always used to go with like family friends and that sort of thing, and everyone used to have like their own camper van or like Charlotte house like near each other or whatever, and it was super cute, you know. You know, you might be able to like rent out like a barbecue, you all like gather together for a barbecue, like late at night you would like all gather in one of people's houses and you would play some random card game like Cheat or like Top Trumps or something, some very basic banal card game, but you know, at the time it's exciting, it's fun, you know. When you use like the shower and when you place it, it's like, ooh, it's not really like a hotel shower, it doesn't feel like indoor plumbing. It's not like, you know, you turn it on and like hot water immediately comes out and it's like a strong like burst or whatever. It's like a very weak sort of burst in this like tiny room, everything's really cramped, and you're staying like I don't know, the excitement of staying like in somewhere which is not where you live permanently, I suppose, is exciting for a couple of days. I mean, you know, it's definitely, obviously, that's why it's a holiday. I wouldn't want to stay there permanently for the rest of my life, but at least for me, when I was a child, I always found it very exciting. And camper vans, I suppose, sort of elevate that excitement because it's so different, I suppose, from staying in a house. Well, I shouldn't say it's so different. It's not like you go in there and be like, whoa, I don't understand how doors work in here or something. It's just more like the feel of it is very different, you know. The things you need to pay attention to are different, like, you know, the resources that you need to manage, like even small things, like the fact that camper van rocks quite a lot is actually, you know, quite a big thing in its own place. So, you know, I suppose it's quite nostalgic being with camper van, because this is the first time I actually had a holiday in a travelling camper van rather than a stationary one. Because the stationary ones are very different. It's basically just like in a hotel house, a holiday home, sorry. But it's just like a more rickety one, is perhaps how I describe it. But being in one which travels, it was a very interesting experience. Would it be something I'd do again? Yeah, I'd consider it. Like I will say, it's not my preferred accommodation for holiday, as I say, but I think it is the best at its niche, and its niche being, if you need to go visit loads of different places, multiple places, like, and throughout a reasonably long holiday stay, you want to have a motorhome or a portable home of some sort, because that is just convenient. Like, if it was only like 3 days and I was like staying in Spain or something, I'd be like, no, just give me a hotel. It seems a bit pointless to have a camper van. Or if you know, you'd be like, you want to go camping instead, I'd be like, yeah, I think camping makes more sense for like a short-term holiday stay, because as I said, like after my camping holiday last year, I actually genuinely quite enjoyed camping. Probably part of the contribution is the fact we only did it for like a few days, like, and it didn't like wear away on me or anything at that point, but it was fun. It was genuinely quite a fun time. But 14 days is how long I was gone for this camper van holiday, and it was also very fun, don't get me wrong. It was interesting to reflect on it, I suppose, because like my association with it now is vastly different, I suppose, to my association with it as a child, because, you know, as a child, I'm not going to say I didn't have a true caravanning experience. It was just more like we stayed in a caravan, but it was a stationary caravan. It's not really the best use of a caravan. How many times can I say the word caravan before it wears its welcome? But it's like, the point of a caravan of these motorhomes is that they are movable. Well, I shouldn't say the point, but one of the biggest conveniences about them is that they are movable, they are transportable. You can go to different locations, etc., etc. I also assume they're considerably cheaper than an actual house, I suppose, if you want to live in one, which is fair enough. But I'm sure not everyone does. So when you go on holiday, I suppose, oh my gosh, Lily, there's so many weeds around here. When you go on holiday and you're not taking advantage of it, and I sort of can't help but feel like you might as well have just sort of like stayed in the hotel. But yeah, again, I'm not here to judge. Well, I shouldn't be here to judge. If you just like prefer staying in a caravan like over a hotel, even if you're only here for a few days, by all means. I certainly don't see myself being like that, like a grandma in the future who like buys a caravan and like uses it to drive up and down like whatever, like the beaches, the seaside cities, I suppose, in UK or something in my retirement age. doesn't really feel like something I would do. I'm perfectly fine with, you know, having like a small cottage or something in a remote part of England. That's definitely much more up my alley. But yeah, it was super cool, to be honest. Like we had quite a nice campground. There was 4 of us in a, so we had like the front like actual like driving caravan area with 2 seats. It had a bed just above the driving seats. You had to fold down the driving seats to pull down the bed to sleep on it. That's why I slept for actually most of the holiday. It was actually quite fun being up there. You might be like, did you ever fall out? No, I didn't fall out, surprisingly, out of a bed, which I guess is a good thing. Because my hunch is like, probably children should be sleeping up there. But then I was like, children fall out of bed all the time. I don't think you probably want children falling from like a 1.5 meter drop onto like a table or something. But whatever. And then you had, what else did you have? And then you had like the driving seats, of course, and then just behind the driving seats you had like the passenger seats and a table, which also folded away to both be like both be in a car seat position, but also they unfolded to be like a dining table and that sort of thing. That was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. But just behind that was a kitchen and like a little fridge area. You might be like, this is a lot in a camper van. It was quite a reasonably big one. It wasn't like absurdly, it wasn't like a coach size, but it was basically like, think a big caravan size. You look at it and be like, hey, that's a pretty big caravan. It's probably how I'd describe it in the worst way possible, because it gives basically no comparisons whatsoever. And then behind that we had like a bathroom area. We had like a small toilet and a sink, and we had 2 sinks in there, which is something we talked about in friends. It was like it's a bit pointless, I think, having both a bathroom sink and a kitchen sink. I understand the need for it because they're kind of like separate rooms, but it's also a bit redundant. I feel like the space could probably be better used, because when you have that limited space, everything matters. We had a shower, which honestly I was quite hesitant to use a shower, to be honest, in the caravan for ages, but then I used it and I was like, it's perfectly fine. It's not as good obviously as using it in like an actual area with like indoor plumbing or whatever, but it's totally fine, is what I'd say. It was much more pleasant than I expected. And then at the bed we had the actual bedroom, which was like a proper double bed. It had like the cupboards and everything, which is where I stayed for the first part of the holiday until I just accidentally hit spacebar, so I accidentally stopped recording. But it's as I was saying, it's where I stayed at the back before I swapped with a couple of my friends to sleep on the hanging bedroom. So it was pretty cool, to be perfectly honest. Oh, it was such annoyance. Now I had to render videos because I just accidentally clicked it. That's fine, but it's like whatever. It doesn't really matter, because I suppose after this I'm basically immediately, well, I need to do some stuff I think first, and then I'm going to immediately just be doing a YouTube thumbnail art. So it's probably bigger than 3. I can delete Here Comes Nico. I can delete Day 1082. I still have like all these Dear Darling YouTube. Oh my god, it's a 1. That's it out, Audie. I'm out of here. Yeah, I still have these like Dear Darling YouTube shorts in my DaVinci Resolve projects or whatever, which, you know, I've never really got around to, but whatever. That's just how it goes. Okay, so 1091 is today. So that's what I do. ACNH day 1091. That's so annoying. It's just like I accidentally hit spacebar and it just like stops your recording. Update available. Skip. Get out of here. And it's mainly only annoying because rendering the entire video is just like, it takes forever, to be perfectly honest. Like I don't have like a rendering farm for a computer, so you know you kind of just gotta make do with what you got. That's certainly something I should think about in the future. You know, if I'm gonna upgrade my keyboard, I might as well get more RAM at some point as well. Seeing the fact I actually make kind of videos now. Although to be fair, I don't really need to render videos most of the time because I just sort of record them all in one shot. But anyway, that's not the point. Caravan. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We stayed in caravan parks. You basically sort of turn up. There's a lot I learned about caravans, like the fact that, you know, obviously we have like water tanks now and sewage tanks, electricity things, that sort of thing. I didn't even realise caravans could have heating, but you know, it makes sense. And like I've seen people like these videos of people like remodeling vans or something to be like living spaces or whatnot, and I never really considered all this thought, I suppose, that particularly goes into the designs of a caravan in the first place, to actually make sure that, you know, it's basically as close to a house experience as possible. Not as close as possible, but you know, still very much in livable conditions, because of course, like staying in a car overnight is very, very cold, I'd imagine, without heating on. But yeah, it's very cool. And of course, if you have like a bathroom, you're gonna have like a a grey water tank, that's what it's called, which is basically just like not your wastewater, but your drainage water. And then you do have like a sewage tank as well, which I'm going to be honest, I never touched because I was like, I was just like, I'm going to be honest, this was like something I absolutely never wanted to handle, because it's just not something which I would like. So thankfully, one of my friends was very nice and did it for us. But I basically never used the toilet in the camp van. But if I could swing it, you know, I'd always use it when toilets when we're out in public, or if we're staying at a campsite, I would use theirs ones instead, because that was just my preference. You know, I can't help the way I am. But yeah, on the whole, it was a pretty cool experience, I think. Doing a bit of camp vanning. Certainly, I would try it again. I think the biggest deficit, I suppose, for me actually doing camper vanning, like a huge amount, is one, I prefer hotels. But hotels are just nice and convenient, I suppose. I don't do super long holidays most of the time, which visit a load of different areas. And three, I can't drive, so you know, it feels a bit bad, I suppose. I feel almost like a bit ashamed being like, oh, I can't drive. So then whenever we go on these long road trips between cities, I was like, I can't like have my own rotation. I can only like sit like and be ready if the driver needs anything. I just sort of had to sit there, or I just sleep. I'm gonna be honest. But it seems like my friends in mind, or if they didn't mind, then you know, it's a thing that they signed up for. So I've sort of got to be like, you had to know what was happening. Anyway, I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewells. Until next time. Bye-bye for now.